I've heard a lot about parent alienation this term, and it's when a particular parent is isolated from the other parent, but also child. And it's a bit like grooming going on as well, where the actual child doesn't realise what's happening in their family, but the person who's been isolated clearly feels left out. So it's part of domestic abuse and coercive controlling behaviours. And sometimes we see a lot of that when parents break up too, or living in the same household but not in a relationship. So I've heard quite a few cases of that particular scenario. Also peer-on-peer abuse. So we learnt about that in Keeping Children Safe, September 2016. And we've been inundated since then about whether it's primary young children who may experiment with harmful behaviours towards each other around changing areas or toilet cubicles or in the playground, to teenagers experimenting but also pressurising others, sometimes being filmed but also having relationships or multiple relationships with young people and targeting people where they know they can't say no. Also we know about FGM and the mandatory reporting, and lots of schools now are being more aware and more suspicious around young people who behaviour change but also may be removed from the country. So understanding also extremism, prevent as well and terrorism, and understanding that a particular young person all of a sudden has a certain hatred towards another group. And the things they write down in stories as well. Domestic abuse has always been a massive thing in relation to safeguarding. And the sad thing again is some children accept that as normal behaviour. I've had loads of cases as a practitioner where parents just accept it's their relationship, the couple conflict, constant arguing, hostile environments. And we know that's psychologically damaging for young people. So these things have been ongoing trends, but it's getting worse now because we appreciate that domestic violence is more now about domestic abuse too. It's about the emotional abuse that impacts on young people. And also online abuse. So we know about young people who gravitate towards online social media platforms and they look for recognition from their peers to feel good about themselves. And sometimes they can take really risky behaviours in doing that and unfortunately not tell anyone. We've had a few cases recently in the press of young people taking their own lives because of the fact that they had been, been harmed or bullied or trolled online about their looks. And also emotional abuse and neglect. We're hearing more and more in serious case reviews about how that impacts on cases, but also how sometimes we don't acknowledge it's happening. So where we know there's a young person or young family struggling to make ends meet, or the emotional abuse from a parent onto a young person, or from their sibling, that is not acceptable. And we have to think about the lived experience of the child. And we have to think as adults that when we're speaking to parents, we feel uncomfortable and awkward. How do young people feel living in those environments? We have to remember that.